Hello, this is Domenico with Easynomics, and this will be a short video covering the difference between demand and quantity demanded in terms of the use of this vocabulary in our analysis of economic models in microeconomics. A change in quantity demanded is a result of a change in price. So if we say there's an increase or a decrease in quantity demanded, that is the result of a change in price. Let's make sure that is clear. So as a note, if there is a change, and we're going to use the symbol delta for change, if there's a change in price, that will lead to a change in the quantity of demand for that particular good or service. And according to the law of demand, price and quantity move in opposite directions. So in graph A, we have our downward sloping demand curve equal to our marginal benefit. We're measuring quantity demanded on the x-axis and the price of that good on the y-axis. And we have a price set at P1 with a quantity of demand at Q1 at point A. So if I was to increase price from P1 to P2, according to the law of demand, holding all variables constant, that would lead to a reduction in the quantity of demand. So here I'm raising price from P1 to P2, and that leads to a reduction in quantity demanded from Q1 to Q2. All right, so here we have price increasing, leading to quantity demanded decreasing. So if I were to say there's a decrease in quantity demanded, if I'm using that terminology, a decrease in quantity demanded, that's a result of an increase in price. It has to be the result of an increase in price when I use that terminology. So that is a movement along the demand curve from point A to point B. That increase in price leads to a reduction in the quantity of demand along the demand curve from point A to point B, or from Q1 to Q2. Price rising, which is the independent variable, leads to the dependent variable of quantity decreasing from Q1 to Q2. And vice versa. If we were starting at a price of P2 and I were to lower that price from P2 to P1, that would lead to an increase in the quantity demand from Q2 to Q1, or from point B to point A. That's a movement up and down the demand curve. Up as a result of an increase in price and reduction in quantity demanded, or a movement down if we were to lower price, that would lead to an increase in the quantity of demand. All right? So I could just make a note here. An increase in price leads to the quantity of demand to decrease. And a decrease in price leads to the quantity demanded to increase. Okay? That is not to be confused with an increase or decrease in demand. If I were to say there's an increase in demand, it means the entire demand curve is shifting outward. Or if I were to say there's a decrease in demand, that means the entire demand curve is shifting inward. Price is held constant. There's no change in price. So in order for that to happen, there has to be a change in a non-price determinant, which I can cover in another video. So if there's a change in a non-price determinant of demand, that will lead to a change in demand, in the demand curve itself, a change in the position of the demand curve. What are these non-price determinants? All right, just for a quick review, non-price determinants include the following. Non-price determinants. I'm running out of space. Could it include, number one, a change in income? If the households gain more income or lose more income, that can cause the demand curve to shift outward or inward. It could lead. This could be a result of a change in tastes and preferences for a particular product. The price of the product is not changing, but there's a change in the taste and preferences. Those consumers may want more or less of it, so demand would increase or decrease. So change in tastes and or preferences. It could also be due to a change in the size of the market, the number of consumers. Maybe there's more a baby boom and a larger generation of children are born, and that increases the size of the market for toys for infants and so forth. It could be also a result of a change in the price of a substitute good, and it might impact another good. For example, Coke and Pepsi. If Coke were to raise price, Pepsi maintaining a constant price, there could be more demand for Pepsi because it's the cheaper alternative. Change in price of a substitute good. Or it could be a result of a change in a complementary good. And I have other videos that go over that. Perhaps I'll have little links up in the corner here provided so you can check the videos regarding substitutes and complements. Price of a complementary good. Okay, so this is a quick list of non-price determinants. If any of these factors change and we're holding price constant at P3 in graph B, then the demand curve could be increasing or decreasing. So again, if there's a change in a non-price determinant of demand, then you get a change in the demand curve. Not the quantity demanded, but the entire demand curve itself. So we could have price being held constant at P3, right? I'm holding it constant, might see an increase in demand from D2 to D3 in this case. From point C to point D over here. And here we have Q4. Okay, so here we see the price is constant, but one of these variables has caused the demand curve to increase. So here, a change in a non-price determinant means that I can use the language of there is an increase in demand. So if I say there's an increase in demand, for example, in this case of the demand curve shifting from D2 to D3, if I'm using that language of an increase in demand, that's a result of a non-price determinant that's affecting the demand curve because price is being held constant at P3. So an increase in demand is a result of a change in a non-price determinant. Okay? Or perhaps the demand curve might be shifting inward. We can have it shift in from D2, if D2 is our starting point, maybe to D4. I'll just draw D4 here. Here we see that the demand curve has decreased from D2 to D3. So I can use that language of a decrease in demand. And we have this reduced quantity of demand along the demand curve of D4 from Q3 to Q, oh, here I'll call this Q5. Q3 to Q4, Q3 to Q5. And from point C to point D, or C to point E, my mistake. So here we can see no change in price, no change in price, but there's another force, maybe a change in income, a change in taste and preferences, a change in the size of the market that is causing the demand curve to, in this case, increase from D2 to D3 or decrease from D2 to D4. So if I were to say there's a decrease in demand An economist would know that that's a result of a non-price determinant, a change in a non-price determinant, not a change in price. Because if there was a change in price, that would lead to a change in the quantity demanded along a stable demand curve. Just make sure that you have that clear in your analysis. Students might say, oh, price has increased from P1 to P2, so there's a decrease in demand. Incorrect. There's a decrease in the quantity of demand along the D1 curve from point A to point B. If they say a decrease in demand, that might mean that you're moving from D2 to D4 in graph B. If you're saying there's an increase in demand from D2 to D3, again, that's a result of a change in one of these non-price determinants. So just make sure that's clear, that the whole point of this video is just to make sure it is clear that you understand the difference between changes in quantity demanded as a result of some type of change in price versus a change in demand, which is a result of some type of change in a non-price determinant, one of these variables here. If you have any questions, feel free to comment those questions below. And don't forget to subscribe and to like. Thank you so much.